My first problem with this movie can be found at its very beginning. When it was time for Helen to marry, many kings and princes from around the world came to seek her hand, bringing rich gifts with them. Tyndareus was afraid to select a husband for his daughter for fear of offending them and giving grounds for a quarrel. Odysseus, one of the suitors, believed he had little chance to win the contest, and promised to solve the problem if Tyndareus would support him in his courting of Penelope. Odysseus proposed that before the decision was made, all the suitors should swear a most solemn oath to defend the chosen husband against whoever should quarrel with him. After the suitors had sworn not to retaliate, Menelaus was chosen to be Helen's husband. When Helen was abducted by Paris, that's what made all the heroes fight alongside Menelaus, not an alliance created by Agamemnon after a long war. Now, I understand that the producers wanted to give us a more realistic version of the Trojan War, but if that's the case, why add Helen to the story? After all, she was just a fragment of Homer's imagination. Another thing that strikes me is Achilles' initial unwillingness to join the Greek war effort. Achilles was actually craving for a war, but his mother forced him dressed like a woman in order not to be recruited. Odysseus, a smart man as he was, uncovered him, and finally Achilles joined the Greek war effort. And of course, there is no mention to Iphigenia's sacrifice to Artemis.
Temple of Apollo, yes?
And that's when shit hit the fan. In order to sustain themselves, the Greek forces had to plunder smaller towns outside Troy. During one of these raids, they sacked a temple dedicated to Apollo, and a lot of heroes took Apollo's maidens as their slaves. Agamemnon had chosen Chryseis, while Achilles had chosen Briseis. Chryseis' father, Chrysis, was a priest of Apollo, and when he found out that his daughter was captured, begged King Agamemnon to release her. Agamemnon denied, so Chrysis cursed him. The next day, Apollo sent plague to the Greek camp, and in order to soften the god, Agamemnon was forced to release Chryseis. Then, and only then he took charge of Achilles' slave, enraging him and making him withdraw from the war. But this happened during the 10th fucking year of the war, not the very beginning. We see a duel between the two rivals in Iliad's third Rhapsody, but it ended up in a draw because Aphrodite favored Paris and kept him away of Menelaus' blade.
See the crows? Never tasted Prince before. He's my brother.
Wait, what? Seriously now, Menelaus dead? He was the first to get back home after the war ended. And here we witness the duel between the biggest and strongest guy of the Greek side, Ajax, and the greatest warrior of the Trojan side, Hector. It ended up in a draw, simply because it took place at the end of the day and night fell. Not wanting to fight in the darkness, the two heroes called it quits. Now, after the burial of Achilles, each Greek hero claimed Achilles' magical armor for himself as recognition for his heroic efforts. After several days of competition, Odysseus and Ajax are tied for the ownership of the divine armor, which had been forged on Mount Olympus by the smith god Hephaestus. Ajax argued that because of the strength and the fighting he has done for the Greeks, he deserved the armor. However, Odysseus proved to be more eloquent, and with the aid of Athena, the council gave him the armor. Ajax, furious, became crazed and committed outrages against the Achaeans' herds of captured livestock and fell upon his own sword. Achilles took Briseis back when Agamemnon realized he was losing the war, and he sent Odysseus to persuade Achilles to rejoin the Greek side, offering him gifts and the girl herself. Patroclus was begging Achilles to allow him to fight. Achilles initially refused, but eventually gave in and allowed Patroclus to wear his own armor and lead the Myrmidons to battle. He warned him, though, not to get close to the walls and stay away from Hector.
Patroclus! We thought he was you, my lord. He wore your armor, your shield, your greaves, your helmet. He even moved like you. Where is he? Where? He's dead, my lord.
Oh, that is absurd, isn't it? It was actually the Trojan oracle Lycaon who warned Priam not to get a horse inside the city. Poseidon, favoring the Greek side, sent two giant sea serpents that killed Lycaon, and Priam, convinced that Poseidon's will was to take the horse inside the city, decided to take the horse. I am officially surprised. Achilles in Troy? Achilles never set foot in Troy.
My slave in Messene, a Trojan priestess, scrubbing my floors.
No, Agamemnon managed to return back to Mycenae, only to be murdered from his wife, Clytemnestra.
What has he done? Go. Go quickly.
Clytemnestra, I told you once, never interfere.
I come from Iphigenia.
She's not here.
I know.
Oh, there is also this.